welcome back to the final episode of our Parenting in Lockdown podcast. I'm Emily, and this episode we are discussing more on the effect that lockdown has had on well-being, both parents and children, and some of the ways of managing that. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope that you found this podcast series useful. So we've talked a lot about lockdown and some of our different experiences of lockdown. I want to talk now a bit more about the impact that it's had on well-being. And so to start, I just wondered what you have noticed as the impact on your own well-being as parents during this time.
Like as a parent in this time, I just feel like there's been no downtime.
Yeah.
So, you know, for us both working and whatnot, but it's that sense of both Claire and I have our sleep's pretty much gone to pot because you're trying to do half, you know, as we said, we do one of us work in the morning, one work in the afternoon, then it's crazy dinner time, crazy bath time, crazy bedtime. Then once they're eventually asleep, we're then back to work, and then it's sort of, you know, often it's sort of near midnight or whatever, and then we're going up, and then it's like Groundhog Day and you start again. Whereas pre-lockdown, you would have, you know, I had things like football going on and other bits where you just had, I guess, something to ease that pressure. And so I definitely know as a dad and all this, I feel like it's just on the whole time.
Is there anything you've learned or any way you've adapted to that, or is it just what it is?
Paw Patrol. No, I think that's a really good question. Like, you know, for me personally, exercise has always been a big thing. So I've got I've got this little phone holder, but Daniel will say, Daddy will say, you know, get Daddy's PE holder. And I was doing a fundraising thing where I was doing press ups every day for 26 days, and actually both kids would come out and do that with me quite often, and that sort of stuff for me personally has been a big. So it sort of probably kept me upright, so to speak, and just give me a bit of a breather.
You look a bit bigger, actually. 26 days non-stop press-ups. That's impressive.
It's all stopped now, Paul. It'll slowly shrink again. I think I found it harder, but I don't know if that's because, well, partly because I hate exercise. So I'm trying to make myself exercise like 2 or 3 times a week, just doing a run or whatever. But I literally hate it. My choice of downtime would be like going out and for a drink with a friend, or you know, going and sitting around the house for the evening. And I think without being able to do that, I feel like I probably haven't found an alternative to that. And I wonder as well if I think we're just wired differently, aren't we? So you find it easier to just stop thinking about something, whereas I feel mentally like even if I am just sat in front of the TV one night watching a film, I feel like because everything's so full on, my brain's still going. And so even if technically, like in a physical sense, I'm sitting down and I'm pausing and I'm not doing something, I'm like, my brain is still just like what's next and what's coming, and you know, what work, what do we need to talk to the kids, or all that sort of stuff. I think my way of dealing with that has just been like my mantra of it just won't be like this forever.
It won't.
Like it's now, but it won't be like this forever. Because I think that's my sanity. Like Kieran doing his exercise gives him that moment in that day of like, oh great, I feel so much better. But without that, my sanity is it just won't be like this forever. You know, we've made it 12 weeks. There will be an end to this. Like we're sending Lily back to school next week. Still don't know how we really feel about that, but we've made the choice to do that. And it's only a couple of days a week, but even stuff like that, you're like, okay, there's a bit of change, there's a bit of something that signals it won't be like this forever. And our house is so dirty. I've stopped trying to keep it clean. I do the basics and that's it. I'm just like, actually,
no one's coming
another
over,
thing.
that's the thing.
But exactly, no one's coming over. And it
Can I just say, when she says dirty, like it's still everybody's safe. Like there's like it's like we do flush all the toilets.
Nothing's toxic.
Sort of stuff.
But it had like my expectation of how all of us do life, really, that's one of my learnings, is quite high in terms of how the house is and get the kids sorted and organisation.
You just can't keep it
exactly. And at some point I couldn't pinpoint when, but I think I just reached like do I really care? At this point I really don't care, or I have to make myself not care, or else I'll go mad.
But you can't, because you get I like that. I like it straight, and I really struggled with that in the beginning. and I still struggle with it now, especially when you've got teens chewing their fingernails and spitting them onto the carpet. It's very hard how to navigate that.
It's great. I can blame it on my teenage son now.
You know, and
It's not me, by the way.
it's not
It's
even
not me.
funny.
Oh, that actually gives me the creeps.
I know, exactly.
Jeez.
But I've had to accept that there are other things that I might need to do to get done. That you know, cleaning is gonna just have to go out the window. Not forever, but then I'll go, oh right, the toilets need doing. Whereas before I was so thorough. Like do my towels on a Wednesday and my sheets on a Saturday. I'm like, yeah, is that level?
Yeah, us too. Yeah.
But like you said, you deal with it in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, we're the same. I'm and that's what's important, I think, for everyone to be aware of what whoever it is you're living with, spouses, children, is comfortable doing, and that they're different. Because I'm very happy just sort of being. It gets monotonous now, but I'm normally very happy just being around the house, and I will go and do some sort of exercise, maybe not every day, but quite regularly. Whereas even if Olga's been out the house, she needs to keep active. You'd say that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
All the time, she's got to be doing something. Whereas I'm quite a bit more happy once the work day's finished to not do very much, or at the weekend just to hang out. Why are you laughing at that, Kieran? Just to, just
because he knows it's him.
Yeah,
it's him. That's why he's like, I've walked in the door. I can't see anything doing in front of me. I'll just sit down. Oh, great, thanks.
But we clashed a little bit because those are quite different. They're not opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're different ways of dealing with it. And there was a time when it was like, well, I need to do this, so why aren't you doing it? Or well, I need to do this, why aren't you doing it?
I think I have worried more about the mental well-being of the child, and when they sit down and you can see on their faces, they're just like, they've got their head in their hands, and you can just see that your child is really struggling today, and that breaks my heart. And I have seen moments of that where I've wanted to go and shut myself upstairs and just cry, because I see the frustration, especially with the primary age one, but also with the older ones who, yes, they've got their their phones and they can chat via their phones, but they miss their friends. School gives them something which is
social interaction.
And being on social media and being on their phones for young kids, it's just not the best. It's really not the best, and they're missing school. They're missing, my middle one missed his school trip to where were they going to? France and Germany. The eldest has missed some fantastic footballing opportunities, but it's all children, but we can only but provide them with what we can do, with the best, with a loving home, pray for our children, be there for them, and do what we can, and know that, like Claire said, it won't be forever. We just don't know when, but it won't be forever.
I do. I think there's a really interesting thing in there about, I've definitely felt like there's well-being on two levels, which is that, like, what's your collective well-being as a family and how do you build that, but then also your individual well-being within that. And so I think throughout the last 12 weeks, my individual well-being has been a bit like, oh, we're doing great, oh no, it's awful, oh, we're doing great, oh, it's awful. And I do feel like I have individually been on that roller coaster, but I think there's been those things, haven't there, of like, actually, how do we as a family, like, what do we do to pull together? What do we do to ease things a bit for everybody? Like, if Lily's not coping with school on one day, is it going to be the end of the world if she watches an hour of TV instead? It's not. It's just not. Like, and that's going to be good for her. It saves us being there, being like, do your work, do your work, do your work, and and then we're trying to do our work, do your work, and it just takes all that out of it.
And is that something? Is that something you've learned as you've gone, like that rhythm of when to, find that balance?
Like, we are way more relaxed about things now than we were 12 weeks ago. Like,
also, you get a sense there was it was before half term. It must have come just after the announcement where you could go and actually sit outside in the park somewhere, so you didn't get arrested for being on a bench. We were, I don't know, it was a Monday, and all the boys had been a bit stressed and hassled, and we probably had been as well. And I just thought, you know what, forget it tomorrow. And I said to the boys, tomorrow when you get up, we're not working tomorrow, we're going out, we're going for a picnic, because you just get a sense of...
you called it, it was really nice. He said, Olga, we're all having a day off tomorrow. And I cried, because there was something about the way he said day off.
Or even for us, I suppose, yeah.
No, it was like you were really in tune with what we needed as a family, and I just cried. What a day off! He went, yep, no schooling, no, we're just going to go out and just going to enjoy the day, and it was just, it was so good for my mind, because just somebody saying it's okay, because tomorrow you're still in lockdown tomorrow, and you've got to do the thing, but today you don't need to do all the things. Carry on doing all the things tomorrow, and every now and then it's nice. What was it the other day? At the end of the day, they finished all a bit early, and we just played a stupid game where you hit each other over the head with a cushion, and it just
there was more to it than that.
There's more to it than that.
It was strategic cushion hitting.
Kieran would love that game. No, it's a word game. And
it's a word.
Oh, your word association, like Malice.
Yes,
and when you fail, you get hit on the head with a cushion.
But the thing is, it's just recognising when the funk hits, and when you just need to come out of it collectively, and like Claire said, individually. Like we said, some of us it's exercise, some of it's a Netflix show, some of it might be self-care, painting your nails, looking on Amazon, perhaps.
But it's weird. I contrast this with obviously in my school, Kieran and Clare will know, I work with young people who've been excluded from school. So I'm in contact with parents who often their first word is, oh, I haven't been able to get them to do that work yet. And so we, as the staff, have actually had to focus more on, even though we do want them to do the work, and there is a bit of an issue that they're doing maybe nothing at all, we've had to say, look, the main thing is that you guys are okay, you're safe, you're well. When it was lockdown, they're staying in, they're not going out and meeting up with all their other teenage friends. And I only thought of that just now, actually, because obviously we've been talking about our own children, and there is a difference, you know, and some parents that we spoke to were struggling with that issue because they were wanting them to. You know, wanting them to engage in the work, I mean, and then, you know, others we weren't able to have contact with as much, and you don't know what's happening in other households. But it is, I bet there's a, you know, the big disparity, and, you know, parents having lots of issues with lots of different things.
There is no one right way. The way you're doing it is right. That's it.
I think the main thing we've thought, you know, it's great, you know, we're blessed the boys have been quite liking to have the work to do, and they're getting on with it and enjoying it, most of it, I guess, even if they wouldn't admit it themselves. But we have shifted so that we're focusing more on, are they okay, not are they getting their work done, which in the early days I was, have you done all your work, have you done everything you're meant to have done, have you done it, if you got, you know, I get the app as well, so I can't change the app, I can see what they've done and not done. So it's like, you know, you've only got you've got these 3 tomorrow. Whereas actually, I don't think I've looked at it for a while, because I sort of trust them, but also I've become more aware that it's the mental health that's just as, if not more important at the moment.
Go for a run. We'll say to the boys, go for a run. Or, you know, they've always had showers, but now it's like I'm aware, you know, you've got to watch the water as well. But every now and then I'm saying, well, you haven't had a bath in a long time. Like, obviously they've had a shower. We're trying to play your music, Bluetooth music over, you know, put some, you know, it's just the little things that older boys that we're just aware of what is going to relax their minds. You know?
Yeah, so for our guys, it's giving them space just to go a little bit feral for a bit. They just need to go completely wild, don't they, actually? And that's fine. They can do that in the garden. They're not going out. They're not bothering anyone. Go out and they're trampolining naked. That has happened a few times. But it's giving them space, isn't it? Just to go and do something that is, just to burn off that energy and to do something that's fun, and, you know, they'll talk about that for a long time, I think. So memories, even in all this.
No, that's true.
Things that we might talk about, like having a water fight or doing.
And even Mummy joined in the water fight.
Yeah, that was.
They love it if you join them.
So, I mean, there's been so much great stuff in there. I just wonder if there's anything else. I guess if parents are listening and they've faced any of the same challenges that we've been talking about, if there's anything else that you would want to kind of say to people or encourage people, or things that you've learned along the way that you want to share that we haven't already touched on.
Just be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and be kind to your kids, and you know, it goes hand in hand, as we all know. When you're struggling, your kids pick up on that, and they're struggling. Like, the days that we're doing better, they do better. So just be kind to yourself, and if you can see that you're struggling, or if Paul is struggling, or if one of the boys is struggling, just be kind. Missing one day of the things that you have to do is not a disaster. So that's it. Just be kind and gentle with yourself and each other.
I think about a bit what you really said, Sarah, about a sense of understand that everybody is, struggling at different points right now, but everybody has those struggles, and how, like I say, I think, I think it's good to be aware of that, but also to share that, especially, being a male. If you look at the rates of males and poor mental health and even suicide and that sort of stuff, I think it's been a time where learning to reach out and say, actually, I do need a bit of help or support or some space, or things that is really important, whether that's actually asking your friends how they're doing and offering to, do stuff for them, or pray for them, or just, I guess, sharing, like I say, being kind and sharing some hope, knowing that everybody has good days, bad days, and days that are just somewhere in between.
Avoiding comparison is a sensible thing as well, because everyone's situation is different, and so some people will have actually loads more time to do loads more exciting things with their children while they're at home, and a lot of people will have a lot less time because they've not only got to spend time with their children at home, but they've also got to work at home and everything else. So comparing your situation to someone else's is just not, it's not going to help any of you. So try and just focus on the needs that you are able to do.
Yeah, I think I've been trying to remind myself that not every day may be a good day, but to find the good thing that was in that day. So every day got something good in it, and to look at that and reflect on that, as well as, actually, it's been a rubbish day and I wish it was over.
Yeah. And I think, in line with the it kind of comes hand in hand perhaps with the comparison stuff, is that, like, parents should be able to feel confident that they know their own children, and so what is best for your children, and reacting to that and responding to that. Just because nobody else you've spoken to that day is reacting or responding that same way, like, that's okay to react and respond to your kids like that still. And I just think, outside, pre all of this time, we're so driven by what we see, like what we see in the media, what we see on social media, what our friends are doing, what families are telling us you should do because they did that when you were growing up. There's that whole thing around parenting anyway, isn't there, of this is the way you should do it, this way you shouldn't do it. And I think being able to be really confident about, actually, we know, for example, with Lily, that she's so emotional, and so there are many days where it's really delicate and it's really light touch, and other people might be in there going, no, stop it, you sort yourself out, you do this. And sometimes we really want to do that, but we know that actually just giving her an easier day, a slower pace, that is what she needs. And so somebody else might not be doing that, but we know her, and reacting to what she needs rather than what other people are going to do with their kids is, we should just be confident in that.
I would say, just tying kind of connecting what everyone's just said, I'd just say focus on today. It's a good thing to do anyway, but like we said earlier, we don't know how long this is going to go on for till we are back to actual normal, but until we're even back to some sense of normal, just what do you need to do today? What do you have to do today? What could you do today? We were even saying it during today, we had lots of things on our minds, each of us, which are looking a couple of days ahead, weeks ahead, for things that are happening. But what do you actually need? What do we have to worry about for today? Let's just do today first, and then tomorrow we'll just deal with tomorrow, and then so on.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, as we start to wrap up, I'm just going to quickly ask, I guess, what's the thing people are most excited for when we get back to some sense of normal, or whatever that's going to look like?
How many are we allowed to say?
Just one.
One? Oh, wow.
Oh, no, one. Can we not have two? I've got
Personally,
two.
or as a family?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of my family.
You're so
it's just all about me.
Yeah, literally.
God,
that is what has made lockdown hard.
Literally, my two things that I can't decide between.
Well, you just said one. You only allowed one.
No, I'm afraid I have to have two.
If you can link the two in any way, then sure.
They're both to do with me. That links it.
See, welcome to my lockdown struggle.
It's all about me. One is, I'm just going to go for loads of dinners out with friends and just talk and eat and talk and eat and talk and eat.
Who's paying for it?
And get them to pay. Yeah, exactly, Kieran.
Yeah, that's it. We'll share it. or to just book myself into a hotel for a weekend by myself.
Again, who's paying?
Like that's my idea of bliss right now. I literally, if I could do it, I'd just watch crap on TV. I'd just order room service and just not actually have to be stuck in a room with lovely people, like my amazing family who I love dearly.
You were just saying about spending time together, and you want to hang on to that.
No, this is like lockdown finishes, hotel for the weekend, and then we'll spend all our family time together.
Well, you'll be out of dinner with everyone.
Yeah, we'll be. Yeah.
Olga's is simple. I know what Olga's is.
Shopping.
Coffee
shop.
I forgot about that.
Hairdresser.
I forgot about
Last
hairdresser.
night, my hairdresser's opened online for bookings. Was I screaming?
So you can get your hair cut online.
Yeah, exactly.
No, booking system was open. I'm gonna go and take myself, get a haircut, get coffee.
She's booked it. She can get a haircut in 6 months' time.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It's there. It's booked.
Kieran, you're missing your football, aren't you?
Oh well, I was gonna. Yeah, there was a couple of things I was thinking.
Not family stuff, no.
Well, no, because that's what I want to keep post lockdown.
Well, you want to be with your family, Kieran?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I will. I'll have 2 kids on my own while Claire's out eating and hoteling
for a whole weekend on your own.
There'll be a travel lodge, and I think no, probably it's got to be probably something like football or just going to have like a session at a gym. That sort of stuff I'm definitely missing. But I think probably out of those two, it'd definitely be football because I think it ties in the interaction with people as well.
Yeah, that's what I would miss. You know, I for years I've always played on a Monday night. Like Kieran was saying, just having a bit of space and time that you you do something, not with him, thankfully, because he would just kick me. But no, just something that you do that's your thing. Plus, it's exercise and meeting up with your friends. That would be my personal one. And for a family one, I was thinking about today actually, something like something really normal, like a cinema trip. You know, we don't do cinema trips as a family that often, just because they're a bit older now. But occasionally, once a year, we go for what's the big premiere, the big action premiere.
Yeah, but no, you guys.
Olga makes us go and watch.
What are you talking about?
Actually, just saying that, I think the thing I'll really look forward to the first time we can do post-lockdown with the kids is taking them to the park. I think our kids will absolutely explode. You have to go down a slide or a swing. It'll be amazing.
I was going to drop the kids off at the grandparents and do a runner.
Good plan.
Does that include Tom?
See by the end of lockdown what it's like.
I think I'd just like to not have to think about everything else as you leave the house. So, to be able to walk down the pavement and not have to go into the middle of the road because someone else is walking towards you. Or it's those kind of little bits that make everything not quite normal. Not just the bits in the house, but all of that. Or even the kind of the little conversations that you have with people you don't really know very well. So like all the people at church, you'll often talk to your friends there, but you'll also talk to some other people. And those are the people that I just, will never hear from again, potentially. But it's those kind of little conversations that you have just on the side with other grown-ups that maybe you don't get in a house at home with your family. Not that you're not a grown-up, so obviously, but other things than, it's those, just those normal bits of everyday life that aren't there at the moment. I miss.
Can I ask one question to the other couples? Have you had moments of thinking what lockdown would be like pre-children?
Oh my goodness.
My favourite one at the start of lockdown was this guy who's asked, he said, you've got to go into isolation. Who'd you go with?
That's really early days.
Yeah, early days. It goes, your wife, A, your wife and children.
Oh,
or
yes,
B, you just goes B.
Yes. But those were the thing is, those were the days when we used to find everything funny. Now we're just like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when everyone thought it was going to be about 4 weeks' time and it was all going to be a laugh for a month and we'd go back to it.
Yeah. And now it's just like, really?
But that video was one that, when you're in a few different groups and you might get the same video sent in a couple of them. That was in all of them. That one went everywhere.
Yeah, it did.
Great. Oh, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
finish it there, but that's been so interesting, so helpful,
Thank
so
you.
good to listen to.
It's been good
Thank
chatting
you
with you
guys.
guys.
It's been lovely.
Take care.
Lovely
Bye-bye.
to see you. See you in
Bye-bye.
real life soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We really hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful. Please remember to rate it and to share it. And you can also find us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram or Twitter @FazeHitchin to see what else we've got going on.